Have you ever felt the unsettling sting of eyes prying where they have no right to be? That eerie, almost chilling sensation that someone driven by jealousy or malice is digging through your past, searching for cracks in your foundation. You've endured the whispers behind your back, the covert glances, and the calculated moves of those desperate to uncover something they can twist into a weapon. It's invasive, it's unjust, and it's a violation of your peace. Yet, take heart, because no act, no matter how carefully concealed, escapes the watchful eyes of God. The schemes built in the shadows are already being met with divine justice. You are not alone in this battle, for the hand of God is moving both in ways you can see and in ways you cannot, revealing their true intentions and dismantling their plans before they can harm you. At the core of these invasive actions lies jealousy, a corrosive force that often consumes those who feel overshadowed by your potential. Your growth and your light unsettle them, making your success feel like a threat to their own fragile sense of worth. Inside, they battle a storm of inadequacy, pushing them to tear down what they cannot create or replicate. Their envy becomes a driving force, compelling them to find ways to diminish you. But envy rarely works alone. More often than not, it joins hands with hidden agendas, cloaked behind a facade of concern or harmless curiosity. These individuals operate with calculated precision, not to understand you, but to exploit you, searching for any detail they can twist into a weapon to manipulate the narrative in their favor. Their intentions are steeped in deception, carefully designed to distort the truth for their gain. And when desperation seeps in, their motives grow even darker. They sense their relevance slipping away, their opportunities fading, and their grip on control weakening, and that fear drives them to strike with even greater intensity. They believe that undermining someone else's journey is the only way to maintain their own fragile position. Your success becomes a looming shadow, threatening the illusion of power they cling to. But beneath all their actions lies one thing: fear. Fear of being truly seen for who they are. Ironically, the ones who pry into your life are often far more terrified of exposure than you could ever be. They obsess over your every move, using you as a diversion to draw attention away from their own flaws. In their minds, bringing you down is a way to protect themselves, projecting their insecurities outward instead of facing them within. Their methods are invasive and relentless. Whether they hire others to do their dirty work, exploit technology to monitor you, or attempt to infiltrate your personal life, they leave no stone unturned in their mission to uncover anything they can twist to their advantage. This isn't harmless curiosity, it's a calculated assault on your peace. Their fixation blinds them to the harm they're causing, not only to you but to themselves. Desperation has a way of showing itself. And despite their belief in secrecy, their behavior becomes obvious to anyone paying attention. What they consider clever strategy instead reveals their pettiness, insecurity, and moral weakness. This entire process is built on the illusion of control. They convince themselves that their schemes can destroy you, but what they fail to realize is the spiritual reality. They are no match for the divine forces protecting you. They underestimate the strength of your foundation, the resilience you've built through trials, and the unshakable covering that comes with being chosen. In the end, they're fighting a battle they cannot win. Their actions, no matter how calculated, are only a reflection of their own brokenness, not a measure of your worth. While they attempt to undermine you, they only deepen their own chaos. Their intentions may be dark, but the light that surrounds you cannot be overcome. Their actions are not only immoral, but often illegal. To pry into someone's personal life without permission crosses more than just ethical lines. It's a violation of privacy, a betrayal of trust, and a blatant disregard for human dignity. They operate under the misguided belief that their actions are justified. But such behavior carries heavy consequences, and beyond the earthly repercussions, there is an even greater truth. Violating spiritual principles compounds the wrongdoing. When they invade your life, they set into motion a form of justice they cannot escape. Divine laws cannot be evaded, and when the time comes, God's intervention is swift, absolute, and undeniable. One of the most powerful ways God dismantles their schemes is through exposure. The secrecy they rely on, the shadow that gives their plans strength, is stripped away, leaving their true intentions bare for all to see. What they sought to keep hidden becomes public knowledge, revealing not only their actions, but also the nature of their character. It's as if a veil has been lifted and the truth can no longer be denied. And often this exposure backfires spectacularly. The information they hope to use against you loses its sting, or even turns into evidence of your resilience, your strength, and your growth. Meanwhile, their own motives and methods are laid wide open, drawing the scrutiny and judgment they once tried so desperately to avoid. The spotlight shifts to their lives, leaving them exposed, vulnerable, and humiliated. In all of this, the power of prayer and unwavering faith cannot be underestimated. When you choose to remain steadfast, trusting God to fight the battles you cannot see, divine justice is activated. Prayer becomes your shield, deflecting every arrow, turning every attack into dust. Often God's intervention is subtle yet unstoppable. A small mistake in their plan, a misplaced document, an overheard conversation that becomes the thread pulling apart their entire scheme. What they meant for harm unravels before their very eyes, and every effort they made to harm you becomes another testament to the divine protection covering your life. These moments may look like coincidence, but they are anything but. Every twist, every small disruption in their plan is orchestrated by a higher power to protect and vindicate you. The collapse of their scheme is not limited to earthly consequences. There is also a spiritual reckoning. To plot against someone under divine protection is to wage war against forces far greater than themselves, and that is a battle they cannot win. God ensures that the harm they intended is returned to them, multiplied, serving as a lesson that no one can interfere with his plan. In the end, he doesn't just dismantle their scheme. He uses it to strengthen you. The attacks, while painful, become powerful lessons in faith, endurance, and resilience. What was meant to destroy you transforms into a stepping stone, propelling you deeper into your purpose. Their failure stands as undeniable proof of the divine shield that surrounds your life. This dismantling serves as a warning to all. God sees everything. No action, no matter how hidden, escapes his notice. And when you are targeted, his response is swift, undeniable, and absolute. Those who come against you are not merely fighting a person, they are contending with the very divine force that upholds your destiny. Quick pause, family. If this message resonates with your soul, and you'd love to support this sacred work, feel free to buy me a coffee. It keeps this space flowing with truth, light, and divine clarity. Link is in the description. And if you're feeling this message, drop the number 88 in the comments. Let's keep going. When their actions are finally dragged from the shadows into the light, they are forced to confront the harsh reality of what they've done. Public scrutiny pierces through the carefully constructed facades they once hid behind, stripping away every layer of deceit they thought would protect them. The shame they worked so hard to avoid now stares them in the face, undeniable and relentless. Their reputation takes the heaviest blow. People who once trusted or respected them begin to question their motives, their integrity, and their character. The lies they told and the traps they set are no longer whispered in the dark, but exposed in glaring daylight for all to see. Suddenly they find themselves alone. The very actions they used to manipulate others now become the reason those same people distance themselves. Isolation becomes their reality. Embarrassment and humiliation follow them like shadows, and the weight of being caught, of having their schemes publicly revealed, becomes unbearable. The power they once believed they had over you crumbles, slipping through their fingers until they are left powerless and exposed. But this downfall doesn't end with personal shame. It spreads like cracks through every part of their life. The relationships they valued begin to collapse under the strain of their deceit. Friends turn away, family withdraws, colleagues keep their distance, unwilling to be associated with someone so publicly condemned. What began as a calculated plan to harm you turns into a self-inflicted disaster, tearing apart the very foundations they depended on. The ripple effect touches every corner of their existence. Their careers falter, their social circles shrink, and even their mental stability suffers as they are crushed under the weight of their own exposure. The shame becomes inescapable, a constant reminder that the destruction they intended for you was the very destruction they brought upon themselves. What they once tried to impose upon you, the weight of their lies, the sting of their betrayal, and the shadow of their schemes, becomes their own burden to bear. It follows them like an unshakable echo, a constant reminder of every failed attempt to undermine you. For those in the community watching this unfold, their exposure serves as far more than just gossip. It becomes a cautionary tale etched into memory. It is a living reminder that no one can act with malice and escape unscathed. Their downfall becomes a public warning to others who might entertain similar darkness, showing beyond doubt that the truth always finds its way into the light. This humiliation is not merely punishment. It is a reckoning. It strips away every illusion they built to protect their false image, forcing them to stand in the raw truth of their motives and actions. The masks they wore so confidently are ripped away, revealing the insecurities, envy, and corruption that fueled their behavior. This reckoning is not just about being exposed to the world, it is about being forced to confront themselves. The aftermath becomes a classroom where the lessons are sharp, unavoidable, and unforgettable. Their exposure is also a testament to the undeniable power of divine justice. What they intended for harm transforms into undeniable evidence of God's intervention, a living demonstration that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Their downfall is not solely about retribution. It is about showcasing the futility of trying to stand against someone wrapped in divine protection. In the end, their humiliation delivers something priceless to you: closure. It reassures your spirit that justice has been served, that the forces working against you cannot act without consequence, and that every battle waged against you will ultimately collapse under the weight of truth. Yet, their fall is not just an ending, it is a beginning. It marks the moment where you can move forward unburdened, vindicated, and fortified. Their destruction carries a message far greater than the mere exposure of their schemes. It is a wake-up call to wrongdoers everywhere, a warning that certain lines cannot be crossed without paying a steep price. When someone targets you, they are not simply challenging an individual, they are standing against divine forces. And in that fight, there is no victory for them. Their humiliation and failure become an unshakable, visible reminder that such battles are doomed from the start. God uses their exposure as a signal, a spiritual broadcast to the world that your destiny is protected. No matter how elaborate the schemes or how carefully hidden the plans, they are powerless against the divine purpose that guards your path. Their downfall reinforces a truth older than time. No force, no enemy, no plot can derail what God has set in motion for you. And for those who witness this, the revelation is not only punishment but also instruction, an unspoken commandment that walking a path of malice against the chosen will always end in ruin. It's a reminder of the steep and inevitable cost, a cost measured not only in humiliation, but in the complete destruction of those who dare to come against you. The shame, the collapse, and the emptiness they now face are not random strokes of misfortune. They are a direct reflection of the law of divine cause and effect. It is what awaits anyone who seeks to harm, sabotage, or undermine the path of another, especially one walking under divine covering. Their humiliation is a living testament etched into the public eye, impossible to erase, impossible to ignore. For you, this isn't just about seeing your enemies fall. It is a message of reassurance that wraps around your soul like a warm mantle. It affirms that you are seen, known, and fiercely guarded by forces that operate far beyond the reach of human influence. You may have felt isolated during their attacks, powerless during their invasive investigations, or uncertain in the face of their schemes. Yet, as events unfold, the truth becomes undeniable. Your battles have never been yours alone. You have been walking with an army, both divine and ancestral, fighting in realms you cannot see, dismantling traps before you even knew they existed. Divine justice moves with precision, working in ways beyond human comprehension. While they plotted in secrecy, heaven orchestrated their undoing in silence. The weight of their downfall is not just symbolic, it is deeply spiritual. It reveals an unshakable law. There is an inseparable connection between earthly actions and divine response. By attempting to harm you, they trespassed into sacred territory, disrupting a spiritual balance they could never fully understand. Their exposure is not a random twist of fate. It is the restoration of that balance, a divine correction meant to reaffirm the truth that you are untouchable when you are walking in alignment with your purpose. God's message through their collapse is as much for the world as it is for you. It is a call to humility, a stark reminder that worldly power, influence, and manipulation are illusions, fragile and fleeting. Those who build their rise on lies, deceit, and malice may seem unstoppable for a time, but their foundation is sand, and the fall will always come, harder, faster, and more devastating than they ever imagined. Your victory in this is not simply about vindication. It's about living proof that enduring strength comes from walking in step with divine will, and this reckoning does not end with them. It reverberates through the community, sending shockwaves far beyond the immediate situation. It becomes a living example of accountability, a demonstration that no act, no matter how hidden, no matter how carefully calculated, escapes the watchful eyes of God. The message is crystal clear: actions have consequences, and divine justice is inevitable. It cannot be evaded, outsmarted, or delayed forever. In their downfall, there lies more than destruction. There lies a seed of transformation. For some, exposure is the breaking point, the moment they are forced to stare at their own reflection without the mask. While shame covers them like a heavy cloak, it also presents the opportunity for repentance, and here lies the paradox of divine justice. Its goal is not only to punish, but also to correct, to open the door for humility, for change, for redemption. Yet that choice is theirs to make. And many will resist, choosing instead to sink deeper into denial. The protection surrounding you runs deeper than most can comprehend. It is not simply a shield made of faith or belief. It is an inheritance, a spiritual legacy carried forward across generations. You walk under the guardianship of ancestral spirits, protectors of your bloodline, who stand as sentinels over your destiny. This is not just about your life now. It is about sacred spiritual agreements made long before you took your first breath. These guardians work tirelessly in both seen and unseen realms, dismantling dangers before they reach you, intercepting spiritual attacks meant to break you, and standing between you and those who seek to harm you. This is why no human scheme can succeed against you. Those who set themselves against you are not merely fighting a person, they are confronting an entire spiritual army. From the moment you came into this world, you have been marked by this shield of divine favor, and with every step you've taken toward your purpose, it has only grown stronger. This protection is why you have survived storms that would have buried others. It is why every trap set for you has collapsed before it could spring. But this ancestral protection is not only defensive, it is also guiding. The inner nudges, the sudden gut feelings, the mysterious pull away from danger and toward opportunity. These are not coincidences, they are the gentle hands of your spiritual guardians, steering you toward the light, away from destruction, and deeper into alignment with your destiny. This invisible force ensures you take the right steps, even when you cannot see the full path ahead. Those who plot against you, investigate you, or seek to tarnish your name, fail to understand the magnitude of what they are truly challenging. In their arrogance, they believe they are contending with a mere human, failing to realize that every move they make against you wakes forces they cannot control, forces that answer not to fear, but to divine law, and divine wrath is no small matter. When someone violates your life, they do not walk away untouched. Their punishment is not confined to legal or earthly consequences. It reaches into the spiritual realm and spills into their physical existence. Illness, misfortune, financial loss, broken relationships. These are often the tangible signs of tampering with sacred energy. These outcomes are not accidents. They are the visible ripples of spiritual balance being restored. The legacy of this protection is your greatest strength. It fuels your courage, fortifies your spirit, and deepens your faith. You walk each day under a covering that no human hand can strip away. You are not just surviving your trials, you are overcoming them, ascending because of them, and carrying the unshakable truth that no plan formed in malice can touch what God has ordained. And no matter how many times you are targeted, no matter how elaborate the schemes or powerful the forces arrayed against you, your story will always end the same way, with your enemies exposed, their plans shattered, and your destiny untouched. This is the reality of walking in divine alignment. You do not just endure, you prevail, and you do so with the full force of heaven and the strength of your ancestors standing beside you. It's a reckoning in every sense of the word, a slow, inevitable collapse of everything they thought they could hold together. The weight of their actions bears down on them, like a storm that will not pass. One by one, their relationships begin to crack under the strain. Friends, family, and colleagues start to re-evaluate the truth of who they really are, comparing the image they projected to the reality that has now been exposed. Trust, once freely given, becomes a rare commodity, and respect, something they may have worked years to earn, slips through their fingers in an instant. The people they once counted on to stand beside them now keep their distance, unwilling to be associated with someone whose character has been so publicly dismantled. The irony is bitter. The investigators, the schemers, the whisperers, those who made it their mission to expose flaws in you, have instead uncovered their own. In trying to bring you down, they pulled back the curtain on themselves, revealing the deception, insecurity, and moral bankruptcy they had worked so hard to hide. Their hypocrisy is now undeniable, and the very narrative they sought to control is forever out of their grasp. This reversal is more than poetic, it's divine. It is a living parable for everyone who witnesses it, a story with a moral too loud to ignore. It demonstrates with absolute clarity the dangers of acting from a place of malice, jealousy, and deceit. It shows that no one, not the influential, not the cunning, not the seemingly untouchable, is immune to the consequences of their actions. Every scheme built on harm will eventually unravel, leaving its creator standing in the wreckage they themselves caused. The fallout is not just professional or social, it is deeply personal. They are left to wrestle with the shame, the isolation, and the hollow silence that follows when manipulation no longer works. For you, this shift in power is both vindicating and humbling. It confirms what your heart has always known, that divine justice is not only real but inevitable. It moves in its own time and in its own way, but it never fails. Yet, this victory also reinforces a sobering truth, the importance of walking with integrity even when you are wronged. Because while the tables may turn in your favor, the way you conduct yourself in the midst of the storm will define how you stand when the dust clears. And when it clears, you stand unshaken, steady in your purpose, and certain of the divine covering that has shielded you all along. The battles you faced, though exhausting, painful, and at times overwhelming, have forged something powerful in you. Each attack, each moment you were forced to hold your ground, has strengthened the spiritual armor around you. You emerge from this season not simply as someone who endured, but as someone who has been transformed. You are stronger in mind, wiser in spirit, and more deeply anchored in your calling. The truth is now unshakable in your heart. No weapon formed against you can prosper. God's protection over you is not a passive presence. It is active, deliberate, and constant. It works in the hidden places, intercepting threats before they reach you, dismantling schemes before they take root, and creating exits before you even know you need them. This invisible yet undeniable force allows you to step into your future with a confidence that cannot be faked. You are guarded by a power that no earthly hand can break. And when the battle ends, restoration always follows. God does not merely protect, He restores. He returns what was stolen. He renews your peace, and He rebuilds your stability. He grants you the privacy that was once invaded, and replaces it with a calm that cannot be disturbed. This restoration is not a small gesture, it is the fulfillment of a promise, and when God restores, He restores in abundance. What is given back to you far outweighs what was taken, and it comes with a deeper sense of security, knowing that nothing and no one can disrupt the plans He has set in motion for you. Through this season, the lessons you've learned are invaluable. You now carry a refined sense of discernment. You see people for who they are, not who they pretend to be. You know where to invest your time, your energy, and your trust. You understand the importance of protecting your peace, maintaining your boundaries, and staying aligned with your divine purpose. You've learned to remain vigilant, not from a place of fear, but from wisdom hard-earned. The distractions, the false accusations, the underhanded tactics, they were meant to derail you, but instead, they became stepping stones, each one lifting you higher toward clarity, determination, and strength. You now carry these experiences, not as wounds, but as weapons of understanding, tools you will use to fulfill your purpose. You are called to take this growth, this resilience, and pour it into your mission, to use your story as a source of light for those still walking through their own battles. Your victories are not for you alone. They are for the people watching quietly from the sidelines, wondering if it's worth it to keep standing when the world feels against them. You are living proof that faith, resilience, and divine covering can outlast and overpower any enemy. Your life becomes the example they hold on to when they feel like giving up. A beacon that shows them the light will always outlast the darkness, and the chosen will always rise. Those who witness your ability to rise above adversity are not just observing a moment of strength. They are witnessing the living demonstration of what faith, divine protection, and unwavering. Those who watch you rise find themselves believing that maybe they too can rise, that maybe they too can see the dawn after a long night. But this victory is not given without responsibility. The covering over your life is a sacred trust, a divine gift meant to protect and guide you, not a weapon for arrogance or self-importance. It is not a shield to hide behind in pride, but a mantle to wear with reverence. Gratitude must be the foundation for every step you take forward. When you walk in thankfulness, you remain in alignment with the spiritual forces that shield you. Humility is your anchor. It keeps your heart soft, your perspective clear, and your spirit teachable even as your influence and reach grow. It allows you to remain accessible to those you are meant to inspire and help, ensuring that your rising is not just for you, but for the benefit of others. The trials you have endured have been some of your greatest teachers. They have revealed to you the priceless value of community and the undeniable necessity of support. Yes, your protection is divine, but even the most protected soul can draw strength from the encouragement and love of others. You now know the importance of surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher, who pray for your success as if it were their own, who shield you in their own way when the weight of the battle becomes heavy. These experiences have taught you to recognize and cherish those who stand with you in truth, and to distance yourself from those who would pull you back into chaos. You've learned to cultivate relationships rooted in authenticity, loyalty, and shared vision, connections that help you grow, stronger rather than weaker, that protect rather than exploit. Let this be your lasting reassurance. No scheme, no plot, no hidden plan crafted against you will ever prevail. God's justice is not delayed, diluted, or dependent on human approval. It is absolute. It moves with precision, striking exactly when it needs to. Every hidden intention, every whispered rumor, every malicious act designed to derail your destiny will eventually be stripped bare for all to see. The lies will collapse under the weight of truth. The traps will be dismantled before they can be sprung. The weapons formed against you will be broken, their pieces scattered so they can never be used again. You are not walking this road alone. You are accompanied by a divine covering that cannot be pierced, and an ancestral legacy that cannot be erased. This legacy is more than a source of pride. It is a living, breathing protection built over generations, fueled by the prayers, sacrifices, and spiritual contracts of those who came before you. You carry their strength, their wisdom, and their blessings into every step of your journey. You are the continuation of their story, the fulfillment of their prayers, and the guardian of a destiny that was written long before you arrived on this earth. Now is the time to move forward boldly with your head high and your heart steady. You do not walk in fear, you walk in certainty, knowing that you are safeguarded by forces greater than any earthly power. Every step you take is fortified, every decision you make is guided, and every obstacle you face is already measured against the immovable truth that your purpose is protected. Those who watch you rise find themselves believing that maybe they too can rise, that maybe they too can see the dawn after a long night. But this victory is not given without responsibility. The covering over your life is a sacred trust, a divine gift meant to protect and guide you, not a weapon for arrogance or self-importance. It is not a shield to hide behind in pride, but a mantle to wear with reverence. Gratitude must be the foundation for every step you take forward. When you walk in thankfulness, you remain in alignment with the spiritual forces that shield you. Humility is your anchor. It keeps your heart soft, your perspective clear, and your spirit teachable even as your influence and reach grow. It allows you to remain accessible to those you are meant to inspire and help, ensuring that your rising is not just for you, but for the benefit of others. The trials you have endured have been some of your greatest teachers. They have revealed to you the priceless value of community and the undeniable necessity of support. Yes, your protection is divine, but even the most protected soul can draw strength from the encouragement and love of others. You now know the importance of surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher, who pray for your success as if it were their own, who shield you in their own way when the weight of the battle becomes heavy. These experiences have taught you to recognize and cherish those who stand with you in truth, and to distance yourself from those who would pull you back into chaos. You've learned to cultivate relationships rooted in authenticity, loyalty, and shared vision, connections that help you grow, stronger rather than weaker, that protect rather than exploit. Let this be your lasting reassurance. No scheme, no plot, no hidden plan crafted against you will ever prevail. God's justice is not delayed, diluted, or dependent on human approval. It is absolute. It moves with precision, striking exactly when it needs to. Every hidden intention, every whispered rumor, every malicious act designed to derail your destiny will eventually be stripped bare for all to see. The lies will collapse under the weight of truth. The traps will be dismantled before they can be sprung. The weapons formed against you will be broken, their pieces scattered so they can never be used again. You are not walking this road alone. You are accompanied by a divine covering that cannot be pierced, and an ancestral legacy that cannot be erased. This legacy is more than a source of pride. It is a living, breathing protection built over generations, fueled by the prayers, sacrifices, and spiritual contracts of those who came before you. You carry their strength, their wisdom, and their blessings into every step of your journey. You are the continuation of their story, the fulfillment of their prayers, and the guardian of a destiny that was written long before you arrived on this earth. Now is the time to move forward boldly with your head high and your heart steady. You do not walk in fear, you walk in certainty, knowing that you are safeguarded by forces greater than any earthly power. Every step you take is fortified, every decision you make is guided, and every obstacle you face is already measured against the immovable truth that your purpose is protected.